Hello and welcome to Michelle's Magic Monday. And today is February 11th, 2019. And I've been really motivated to talk to you as a group about the book, You Can Heal Your Life. It's come up in conversation so many times this week. I figured it was a group consciousness that needed to be brought out. So I deeply want to talk about this book today because I know a lot of people have been feeling the stress energy. I've had a lot of people going, "What's wrong? I've been under stress. I've been under anxiety." Even deep level healers have been feeling the consciousness of change and really needing to go into the deeper dive of healing. And so I wanted to bring really to the surface one of my favorite books, and I'll bet at least a quarter of you have this book or have read this book already. It's one of the classics for any kind of healer to own. It was the very first book Louise Hay wrote, and Louise Hay, for those of you who are new to the metaphysical world, is one of the forerunners in all metaphysical healing. She's the one who broke the market open with her publishing company, Hay House. And that entire publishing company wouldn't even be in existence if it hadn't been for this book. And so the book is over about 50 years old now, and it was groundbreaking at the time and stands the test of time. Everything in the book is the same today as it was 50 years ago. And so one of the things I use, one of my biggest healing tools, is the very first chapter of the book. So often people pick up the book and they use the metaphysical correspondences at the back of the book where they're like, oh, well, if I'm working on a knee, it may be about moving forward. Or if I'm working on my heart, it might be about this or that. But so many people ignore the lessons in the book. And the first and most important lesson, as I ask you to revisit this book, is to revisit and put into practice the concept of the very first chapter. In this very first chapter, the act of forgiveness is key. And this is both forgiving yourself and forgiving others. In fact, the other key piece would be forgiving the situation for coming up in the first place. So you are forgiving yourself for not being who you need to be, who you would have wanted, but I'll bet you were your best self at that time. At the time you made the decision, were you making the best decision? And if you knew you were making the wrong decision, were you still acting out of a place of not having all the information you have now? So the first step and the most key step, and I love the wording that Louise Hay uses, and that is, I forgive you, meaning you. And so you can use your own name or you can use what you would talk to yourself in. So a lot of times people will be like, girl or bitch or whatever word you're going to say to yourself. Whatever you would look in your mirror and give yourself a pep talk. Or even what would the word you would call yourself if you were getting yourself a dressing down? So the word, when I'm like mad at myself, my mother would call me Michelle. And so I would be like, Michelle, you need to get yourself together. So when I am trying to forgive myself, I would always say to the same thing. And this is also my mother's voice. Michelle, you are good enough. You are worthy enough. You are always good enough. That is also my mother's voice. And so I would address myself the same way. Michelle, I forgive you for not being who I wish you could have been in that situation. And so I want you to try that. Say to yourself whatever wording you would need to say. I forgive you for not being who I need you to be. I love you and I set you free. I love you, I bless you, and I set you free. And what you're doing with the I set you free is the wording says, I'm not going to hold this energy anymore. I'm not going to keep beating myself up for this. I'm going to release my need to hold on to this mistake or this choice or this feeling or this act I am beating myself up for. So you're going to acknowledge that you didn't make the choice you wanted to make. Maybe you got into a relationship you wish you hadn't got into. Maybe you got out of a relationship in a way you didn't want to get out of it. Maybe you cheated on someone, made a mistake, did something wrong. It is time to forgive yourself for not being who you wished you had been. And stop the punishment and stop the negative self-talk, because it creates an energy of unworthiness. It creates an energy of, I can't have something better because I'm still punishing myself for this other thing. To get into worthiness and deserving, you must allow yourself to be released of the punishment, whether it's someone else punishing you or whether you're punishing you. And 80% of the time, find it's you punishing yourself for the decisions or non-decisions, the actions or the non-actions you've taken. And so, I forgive you, said to yourself, I love you, and if you want to throw a zinger in there, I accept you, and I set you free. I set you free. If you would accept someone else for what you had done, if you would tell your best friend that they were worthy of forgiveness and love and self-acceptance, you need to be able to say that to yourself. This is like the total honoring of becoming your own best friend. So I want you to talk to yourself like you actually like yourself. Like you are actually your biggest champion. Like you are your biggest, deepest advocate. If you would advocate for a small child who couldn't speak up for themselves, that's how I want you to talk to yourself. If you would tell your best friend how fucking awesome they are. Ooh, I'm very cussy tonight, so please forgive me, Facebook. If you would forgive yourself, you must be able to forgive others. And if you are able to forgive others or advocate for others, you should be able to advocate for yourself. Make yourself your own best friend. Make yourself your own best advocate. Allow yourself out of jail. Are you punishing yourself for something that you have now put yourself in emotional jail for? Have you put yourself into a punishing situation where I can't have these good things I want because I did something bad 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 15 minutes ago? Release yourself, because if you don't feel worthy, you can't manifest. If you don't feel like you deserve something, you can't manifest. If you don't think that it's possible, you can't manifest. So the second piece of forgiveness is then forgiving the situation. You were put in an uncomfortable situation. Maybe you even created the situation. Maybe someone else created the situation. But the situation itself is what you have to forgive. Sometimes the situation is a lose-lose or an impossible. And so you perhaps even made the best decision you could within the two options possible. And so I forgive this situation. I release myself from this situation. I allow myself to be set free. And I forgive the choices I made within that situation, whether they were right, wrong, good, or bad. Start letting yourself off the hook with whether you were right, wrong, good, or bad, and allowing yourself to know you were making the decision within the situation you were in. And allow yourself the gift of imperfection, that you would make a different choice now. And so teach yourself that it is safe to make a new choice, that you're worthy to make a new choice, and you don't have to continue punishing yourself from the old choice. And then the last piece, the third one, is forgiving other people. And you may want to hold that anger because it keeps you safe. You may want to hold that anger because it makes you righteous. But if you forgive, it doesn't make the situation having been better. It means that you forgive the situation and you don't need to hold that energy. You never have to be weak again and repeat the situation. So you're going to forgive that person for not being who you needed them to be, for not being like even a rapist or a murderer or someone who has taken everything away from you. You're going to forgive them. And when you do that, you're setting yourself free, not them. Their karma will take care of it all. You do not have to bring the karma about. It is not your job to bring around karma. It is your job to learn how to heal yourself. And so relax and release and let go of them having to live their karma through your righteousness. Allow yourself to move on and heal no matter what they did or didn't do for you, with you, or to you. Because holding on to the anger, holding on to the resentment only continues to cause you pain. And if you don't acknowledge it, it causes you disease and disorder. So the concept here is I forgive you for not being who I need you to be, and I set you free. And I set myself free from having to live in this situation, live in this energy, live in this memory. And that will heal your soul. And when you heal your soul, that will heal your body. So I know I went a little deep tonight, and I'm also going to keep it really short because I don't want to add to this by going off in any other tangent, because it's simple and it's clean and it's powerful, and I want your homework assignment to be to look at everything you might need to release and forgive. Do I need to forgive myself? Do I need to forgive someone else? Do I need to forgive a situation? And that is, my friends, my dears, my loves, the deepest healing you will ever have. It is the thing that pushes you into pure love and acceptance. Forgiveness will give you all the freedom, all the ability to manifest, all the chances for a good life. If you are struggling with having the life you want to lead, forgive the life that you're still holding on to. And so I say hi to everybody saying hi. I say I love you to all of you that are watching live and all that are watching later. I am completely 100% in the belief that you can heal your life. And so I want to hold an energetic for you right now, whether you're watching this now or in the future. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to allow yourself to go into that place of ultimate love, that place of pure love. I am holding that place of pure love for you. And I want you to say to yourself, I love you. I forgive you. And I set you free. And I am sending the energy out that it is safe, that it is easy, It is possible, and you are already in the energy of forgiveness. That you are a divine spark of the energy of all that is, and it is your right to be joyful. It is your right to be healthy. It is your right to be happy, and you may claim that right now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is done, it is done, it is done. As above, so below, so it is through every cell, every emotion, every part of you in time, space, dimension, and reality. I love you so much. If anybody is in need of a little bit more work with that, please feel free to private message me if you feel like you need a little bit more. I'll get with you, or I'll get one of my angels to work with you if you feel like you need more help with forgiveness. I really feel like the next 2 weeks energetically are all about forgiveness. And if you need more help, if you're struggling, please let me know. In the same vein, if you're local, I do have the heart chakra class tomorrow at Cole. And so that will be certainly a place where you can do some heart level healing. If you are not local and you need to talk to somebody, I will make some arrangements for you to work with someone, an angel or me or whatever is going to work with your schedule. And, you know, I just really want to tell you I love you, and I'm proud of you. I accept you, and I want you to practice saying all those things to yourself. So from my heart to yours, from my, love into you, this is Michelle, and my wish for you is that you are filled with a life full of love and purpose as you live magically.